Good afternoon, everybody. It's Donnie B.GotDaBeats. We live on Two Blue West here with my brother Nicholas Baker. What's going on, Nick?
What's good, brother? Another Sunday. Trying to watch these football games. A lot going on.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. You know, I had to represent, man.
well, you
I
might
had to
well pull it
represent.
down some. They ain't do too well today, but it's okay.
It don't matter.
We shout out Sean Taylor for sure.
Thank you.
He
Thank you.
definitely had that retirement ceremony or retired that man's jersey. Well deserved, I will say that for sure.
Yeah. That's just the important. But they are who we thought they were today. I got to say that's my squad, but they are who we thought they were. It was Kansas City, and they did.
Definitely not mad at it.
But
They did.
it's all,
They did.
it's all
Definitely got
about.
that retired jersey. They retired Gruden's jersey too, but that's a whole nother story.
I'm sure we're gonna get to that for sure. For sure.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a guest due to the unfortunate circumstances he couldn't make it on at this point in time. Hopefully, we can get him on before the end of the show. But we gonna keep it rolling anyway because we have plenty to talk about. And what other else is there to talk about than the Two Blue Sports Review, basically? So we get into a whole bunch of other topics. Baker, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, it's been a crazy week. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of interesting topics that happened. I think the first one I want to talk about is Kyrie. I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving first because he got a lot going on, and I want to go with him first because the other ones, we got oh shit at the bottom. We gonna mix it up,
Oh
We
yeah,
we still want you to follow oh shit.
yeah, but that's let's take it down for a second. Indeed.
Look, but
But
yeah, Kyrie Irving, man. So as we know, Kyrie is like refusing at this point to get that shot, to get that vaccine, and basically he can't play until he gets it. So in his head, he's like, it is what it is. Getting a lot of criticism for it. A lot of people coming at his neck for it. Yeah. What are the thoughts, man? What do you think?
look, I think here's my thing with Kyrie. Kyrie is he knows what he's doing, right? He may not know how to get really to the get it out. I liken myself to that too. Because I always kind of know what I'm doing. I just don't know how to eloquently say it all the time. And I think a lot of the things with him is his failure to be able to communicate effectively what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
To say you are the voice, or you stand up, or you're the voice of the people, or the unheard people, or whatever, the silent majority, or whatever, but we don't know what you stand for. Suspects. You know what I mean? Like it puts you in a really, really bad situation. And I agree because I watch First Take in the morning. Shout out to Stephen A. and the team. I agree that I think his outburst on Instagram did not help his case none, but I think it did help him to the extent of where it's a failsafe so that if he does go get the inoculation, then he won't be crucified for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that look, the NBA has a right to protect its players as well as the fans to come to these venues. So I think if you sign a contract and you are property of the NBA and they issue this mandate, then you are contractually bound to it, regardless of your freedoms. That's like me joining the military
Mm-hmm.
and saying, "Hell no, I'm not going to get inoculated. I'm not going to get this vaccine." I wish you would. They'll lock you up in a New York minute.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, I think that just speaks to the lack of education, the on the topics. That speaks to the what do you call that? The privilege that he
Mm-hmm.
thinks he has,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that. But again, I respect his as a man. I respect his choice. I respect his right.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he feels he needs to do, that's what he needs to do. But I do want to spin too the talk about because then there's my favorite guy in the world, Bradley Beal. And again, no disrespect to Bradley Beal, but he hasn't been vaccinated either. But he got to play in New York against the Knicks. And the question was raised, and because it was outrage, obviously, because Kyrie, can't play, but you allow Bradley Beal to come up in New York and play, and it's against new NYC policy. So
what was that? I didn't see that. What was the excuse? I know there was supposed to be something where Kyrie is supposedly allowed to practice, but they're like, no, we're not gonna let him practice until. I didn't know they could play. Is it they could play preseason games? Like, what is it? I didn't know. I didn't see that.
Honestly, to be fair, I do not know the actual and I guess maybe I should have been more prepared on that. I don't know what the actual rules are that suggest that. All I know is that it is New York is one of the three major cities that does not allow their players, if you're not vaccinated, you cannot play with the team. I mean, I see Andrew Wiggins went and got vaccinated. He was out there playing. He didn't play until he got vaccinated.
Sure did.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, my thing is, that's cool if you're in DC, right? And because it's not one of the major cities, right?
Right.
But the minute you touch down in New York, you should not be allowed in the building, let alone on the court, because you are now a risk. Now, what I explained to the people I was talking to is that it would have been more precarious if he played in Brooklyn,
right?
And they allowed it.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and I think that's an epic fail for Madison Square Garden and the NY Knicks organization. Epic fail, and they should be held liable for that. That's just my thing.
I mean, I think I got complex thoughts about it. I mean, Kyrie is making a decision, and it's his decision to make, and he will reap the consequences of that. Like, I think that is what it is, and I think there are more, there are different areas of work that are doing the same thing. I mean, the government has the mandate. Schools are looking at the mandate right now for whatever reason, and I think people will be faced with the same decision of whether or not they want to take the vaccine or not. Right. I definitely think the backlash he's getting is extra. Like, I'm looking at their roster. So DeAndre Bembry, he's probably vaccinated, but I don't know who the fuck that is, right? And I feel like if DeAndre Bembry was like, I don't want to get a vaccine, you wouldn't see that on like any show.
True.
It would be like, it is what it is. So what? Right? So I don't think it's because it's an NBA player saying I don't want to get a vaccine. It's because it's Kyrie Irving, who's now had a history of like taking random time off and being like, well, it's because I need it. Or, making certain statements where he's just not there. And there's this thought that he's letting his team down. But I think Kevin Durant said it best. They're like, look, he's a grown-ass man. He's going to make his own decisions. Like, we're not going to change his mind.
Right.
So we need to just be here and play. And I think that's what it boils down to. Like, at the end of the day, if a grown-ass man is deciding, I don't want to do what is the requirement for this job, and I accept the consequences of that, which is I won't get paid, why are we still talking? What's the conversation? Like, at that point, it is what it is. It's not like, oh, they still have to give him his salary and he's doing this. That's different, right? But it is literally like, okay, so we're not going to give you the extension, and he's missing money. Like, but he said it. I know the amount of money I'm missing. Like, do you think that's what I want to do? No, it is what it is. So I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't judge him. I mean, like, shit, there's people out here who wouldn't do what he's doing just to make $10,000. Nevertheless, $100 million that he's missing out on, or the opportunity to get. Like, I think, yeah, I feel like he's standing for what he believes.
Yeah,
That is what it is. Like at the end of the day, whether you agree or you don't agree, he's standing for what he believes, and then he's taking the consequences for what that is.
Right.
So he's taking the consequences of his team feeling some kind of way. He's taking the consequences of not getting the money. Like I really don't understand people getting on news shows or talk shows and just bad mouthing them because I don't get it. Like it gets to the point where it's almost like to me, you're saying he should because they that he was offered a certain amount and like
Right.
he can make a certain amount that he should shut up and dribble.
Right.
That's what it feels like. It's almost like the same thing. Like, look, I know you have an opinion, but you're offered this amount of money and you're obligated to be there. That's not true. Like at any job that you have, no matter how much your paycheck is, if they come up with a stipulation that you don't agree with, you then have the opportunity to say no or all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go with it. That's any
Yeah.
job. Like all of us have, not all of us, but like any of us who have jobs right now.
Mm-hmm.
If they came in there, and I think you have to think it from the perspective of if you went to your job and they said some shit that you completely disagree with, would you be obligated because you have been offered a contract to do it? I think that's how we got to look at it. Like if I don't agree, then as an adult, I have the opportunity to or the right to be like, I don't agree with that. I choose not.
Right. And I understand that. And I think I agree with you. I do think that the media hypes it up because realistically, when you look at these talk shows, you look at these like these Skip and Shannon, Undisputed, and all the whole nine. It's basically like people watching us on Two Blue West. It's like, hey, I like these guys. I want to get their opinion on what's going on, which helps to give people fodder for them to have an opinion about things. Lord knows, let alone Twitter itself. That's a whole nother animal. But I think with this situation, it's like you said. I think you have to look at it from a perspective of everybody is human, and we dehumanize people
Yeah.
so quickly. And I get that, but we also got to look at at least I look at it from this perspective of in my job, I get paid for people to depend on me to deliver the expectations they have of me.
Yep.
If I choose to forego that,
Mm-hmm.
then I stand the risk of losing my position at the company.
Correct.
That's the contract. That's the handshake. That's on the W-2. And usually when you look at your job and you look at job requirements, what are you required to do by that's binding for your position? It goes under that little byline that says other duties as assigned,
Yep.
right? And I
Yep.
think in this case, it's other duties as assigned for Kyrie, right? Because at the end of the day, he's looking at it from solely his perspective, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of other things to look at. Okay, yeah, cool. You haven't received the virus, or maybe you have. You've been in the bubble before, but you don't know if you could be a carrier to deliver to somebody else. It's a whole other thing to look at. If you look at it outside of yourself and look at the bigger picture, then you should be able to see it.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at it through the lens of looking past the nose of your face, then yeah, you're going to see it from your perspective and your perspective only. And then that's fair because again, he's a grown man. He makes the decision that's best for him.
Yep.
So we can't say he's wrong. Can't say he's right either. That's just his decision.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, when you have these fans that are paying exorbitant amounts of money to come see him at this team, to get to the endorsements, to get his shoes, to get his jersey, to get a whole bunch of people feel a part of the success of this man. And
Yep.
when he does not deliver, that's a failure. Because when you hear somebody put on LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday. It's nothing worse, nothing that lets you down more than when your hero does not deliver for you.
Okay.
And I felt that. It made a ton of sense to me. And what's going on, Q? How you doing, brother? Um,
I mean,
I just, I'm sorry. What
no,
you
go
say?
ahead. Go ahead and
Yeah,
finish.
no, yeah. I just feel that there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and obviously, it all boils down to him and what his decision is. And I think the world should just wait, according to and allow him to make the decision that's best and comfortable for him. I do believe that, but I
Mhm.
also look at it from a perspective of he is who we think he is. Because again, like you said, oh well, I should be able to allowed to play part time. I need to be away because personal reasons, and I'm gonna step away from the team. Oh, the Earth is flat, and I don't want to play this Tuesday because the Earth is flat.
Yep.
Hey, they didn't sage the place properly. I can't play under these conditions. This is some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different ways as to where it's like he is his own worst enemy right now, and I think that's the main thing that everybody's really creating the media storm, the maelstrom that's surrounding him right now because of those actions.
I mean, I think there's multiple pieces to that too. Like, I think if you think about it from the perspective of like having like an obligation or an expectation of him showing up. I mean, one with the hero thing, he didn't ask to be a hero, right? So if you make him your
Mhm.
hero, then you got to accept him for all of it. You know what I
True.
mean? His ups, his downs, his lefts, and his rights. And people who think he's a hero may actually rock with the fact that he's standing up for what he believes in. I think the other part of it is someone said it a post the other day. They let Magic Johnson play with full HIV. Full HIV. Magic was out there on the
That's
court.
true. But did
Like,
didn't
right?
but when he announced it, didn't he stop playing? When
He
he announced?
stopped playing, but then he came back and he played. Remember, he played in that All-Star game, um, where he was full blown, had said it, all that good stuff, right? And my thing is like they want to make this a safety thing, which I get. I understand. Like, I totally understand the need for it. I think in my daytime industry, the schools talking about it, like I get it. I totally understand why you want a mandate, right? But I
Right.
think at the end of the day, like it's like any other situation. Like if I choose that I don't want to do it, like if I work at a school, right? And let's
Right.
say I'm a teacher,
Right.
I may be some kid's hero.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But if
Right.
they say I'm mandated to take this vaccine and I choose not to, and that costs me to lose my job or not get paid or have to be on unpaid leave, like it would be crazy to me if like superintendents from other schools or like from that county or like the principal and the APs would be on a social media site being like, "Hey, guess what? This motherfucker crazy. He's stupid. Why would like it just is like I don't think you can judge someone's character for standing up what they believe in. If anything, that shows their character, right? Like that to me goes for them more than it does against them because he's willing to accept the consequences. Like he's not suing the Brooklyn, and he may go this route, but at this point, he's not suing the Brooklyn Nets saying, "Oh well, pay me this because I should still be able to practice and play part time."
Mm.
Like he's not doing that. He's saying, "Fine, this is what it is. Like I get it. I don't like it. It's not what I want, but I'm not with this vaccine right now." And he's accepting the consequences that come with it. And I think that is the piece that makes it like, it is what it is. Like I understand. Like again, if I was in your position, I may not take that same stance,
Right.
right? I may feel like I'm a rock with my team, right? I feel like I have an obligation to my team, to the fans. Like I think I probably would understand like or come from a point of view that you have when you speak that. But I just think when I think about him and what he's doing and what it affects him more than anyone else.
That is fair.
Like
That is
anyone,
very.
it
That's very
affects
fair.
him more than anyone else involved. Ain't no fan losing $100 million. Ain't no player on their team gonna lose $100 million. Like, it's him. You know what I mean? And I think that is what makes it like, all right, do your thing. Like, do what you do. Like, we hope to see you back on the field, on the court. You know what I mean? And that is what it is. Exactly. I said the same thing earlier. Like, it's because of who he is why it's getting so much attention. Because there are plenty of teachers who are saying, you know what, nope, I'm not gonna do it. And that's their choice. It is what it is. I got it. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, if you feel like it's not for you, it's just not for you. But because of who he is, because he's a star, because he's a big face of the team, it becomes bigger. Like I said, DeAndre Brembry or whatever his name was, if it was him,
so disrespectful to DeAndre Brembry.
I mean, look, he make more money than me probably right now. It is what it is. But if it was him, you wouldn't know it. You would not know that he decided not to take the vaccine.
DeAndre Brembry, I know who you are. I was a fan of yours when you played in Atlanta. Trust me, I get it. It is what it is. Like,
would you know? Would you know though? Would Stephen A be saying, "Oh my God, DeAndre Brembry, I can't believe you would have the audacity"? Like, no,
no, you're right. But you also got to look at it as this, right? When you following teams,
yep,
the teams are only as good as their assets.
Okay.
Right.
Facts.
And having a valuable asset is more about name association. I do this all the time. You know, when you talk about, you know, what is this player known for?
Yeah.
Did they live up to this standard? When you get Rajon Rondo, you know what you get with Rajon Rondo. You know that name. He stands by it, he guarantees it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a household name.
Yep.
You know, you get a Dwight Howard, you know what you getting. You know what I mean? So the thing about it is that, it's, of course, if you don't have a name, if you have not established a name, they're not going to go after John Rigglesby at the HR, HR Puffer Stuff in code, because he didn't report to work on time and he came back late from lunch. Like, nobody cares.
Right.
But it's like I always say on social media, nobody cares who you are unless everybody cares who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the reality of it is that, he is in that light. But what comes with that is the attention. Now, there's also the parallels to that people have been making on social media, talking about he's like the new Colin Kaepernick, which I absolutely disagree with, because at least when Colin Kaepernick stood for what he stood for, you knew exactly what it was. He didn't change it. He didn't back down from it. He didn't rub sage all on the motherfucker and put a bow on it. It was what it was. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that I think rubs a lot of people the wrong way about Kyrie, is that he seems to be all over the place with all of the stuff that he does, and he never really clarifies his stance. Mm-hmm. His only thing is, I'm a man, I make these decisions. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why he gets ridiculed. That's why he gets put in that position, because he gets to be put up on a dartboard so that people can throw darts on him. And he puts himself up on the damn dart.
Yeah, but in what way? Like, think about it. All he's saying is, I'm not gonna play, and I'm gonna miss out on a bunch of money. And we ridicule him.
True.
Like, and if you think about it, it's like,
so being a voice for the voice,
like, he's losing. He's the one losing.
True, you feel what I'm saying? But he's the voiceless. The voiceless didn't say, "Hey, you know what? We need a voice, and we're gonna make Kyrie Irving that voice."
I feel that.
You see what I'm saying? So my thing is this: that's where it goes awry. I totally understand and agree with you. And as like I said, from one man to the next, if I ever met him, I'd shake his hand amicably. At the end of the day, he's a human being. He's a man. I won't respect him as such, right? But again, we are all doomed to our own devices, right? Yep. I've done plenty of things that I'm not proud of. I am very fallible. I'm human. You know what I mean? But I will stand by my mistakes and I will own up to them. And my thing is this: I don't feel in any way, shape, form, or fashion with some of the public displays that he's done, he's owned up to them. And I think that that's part of the reason why, is because it's like, oh, okay, that's why the media and everybody's on him, because it's like, we need to catch this again.
Okay, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know if I can't totally agree with that for this reason.
Okay.
Kyrie didn't bring light to this. Think about that. He didn't bring light to it. He said what it says. There's been a lot of life for other reasons. Right. But he's not bringing the light to it. Kyrie will say, okay, cool. I'm not going to do this because of this. Or he'll say, I'm taking time to myself. Who brings light to it? The media brings light to what he's deciding. He went on social media to respond to all the people who were talking shit about him.
And he said a whole bunch of nothing.
That's cool. I'm not saying that he gets on there, he's profound when he speaks. What I'm saying is that he didn't go out and then get on a soapbox and say, oh my God, look at me. He went out on his own and said, this is what I'm doing. But he got the media attention. I think a big difference, like, I'm not a huge Colin Kaepernick fan, to be honest with you, with everything that he did. Like, I think in the beginning, yes, I agree. He took a bold stance and did something that was very selfless, in the sense that he wanted to stand up for police brutality and the injustices that were happening. I started to dislike it when he started to make it all about he started to me to become like this, oh, I'm going to use this platform to boost me. Like when he's doing commercials like, oh, I've been ready for 3 years, 22 hours. Okay, now you want something different. Now it's about you and not necessarily the thing.
I felt that when he did his little pro day workout.
Yeah. Exactly. He started to you're going a different route, right? I think with Kyrie, I don't see Kyrie necessarily, I think he made that comment, the voice of the voiceless, which is okay. You don't go that route. Like, live in your lane that you've been living, but everything else that he's been ridiculed for hasn't been him standing out, like going out somewhere and making a bunch of extra conversations about it. He's like, look, this is what I'm doing, and that's it. But other people talk about Kyrie. And then if as a man, if you talk about me 300 times, on the 301st time, I might say something, right? And it's not that my conversation or my speech may be the best, but I'm going to say something because you keep talking about me. Like, you're not ridiculing me. You're ridiculing me on your own merit. I did what I did, and you're ridiculing me without me saying anything. So if I come back, now I gave you more ammunition to ridicule me, which is what it is. But I don't think that's how it's starting, because when he goes out again, he's not making a big scene of it. He's just doing it. But
well, that's fair. He is just doing it. But again, that's where I think that's where our paths collide, right? Because I don't have a problem with him making the decisions that he makes. I don't have a problem, like you said, a lot of the stuff that he said or is being said about him, he has to address because somebody else said that about him, or his team said that, like Schefter reports that, oh, blah, 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 Kyrie said this. Right. But my problem is that he never addresses it directly, what was said. If somebody says, breaking news, Donnie B.GotDaBeats says that he don't like soapboxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a problem with that. First of all, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say, look, about this thing about soapboxes, I didn't say that. What I believe is X and O. I want to address issues specifically. Like I always tell my kids, you don't, if you break your foot, you don't go to the hospital and talk about my hand hurts.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like you part of diagnosis is troubleshooting and triage. Right, and I don't think he's good at triage. I think he need to fire all his PR people, like all of his PR people.
I think initially, and I actually do need to go back and watch his whole statement, but I think initially he was addressing it. He's addressing the fact that, why y'all talking about me? Leave me alone. That's what his problem is. Like, he don't have to explain why he don't believe in the vaccine. I don't whatever. Fair. But his problem is that, why y'all keep addressing my name?
Because you want to be a voice for the voiceless.
You won't address me in my face. You keep addressing me online or on your TV shows. Why do you keep doing it? I think he did address his problem. Like his problem was, why do y'all keep speaking on my name? And I'm not
because you want to be a voice for the voiceless.
cool, but I'm saying, like you
So
said,
what voice is that?
you said triage the problem. I think his problem is just that. Like I go out, I make a decision. He said, like, I know I saw the part where he's like, do you really think I want to lose out on this money? Do you really think I don't want to be in the game that's my childhood like dream? Like you really think I don't want to go after a title? Like you
That's
really
right.
think that's what I want to do? Like he stated that.
What you doing?
Like, why are people like, why do you consistently speak on my name? I don't understand. And I think that's his problem. Like, if you agree with him in what he's doing is one thing, but when you start to downplay his character and all this extra shit, it's like you ain't got to do that to say, I don't really agree with the fact that he's putting his own decision over the team, or I don't agree with the fact that he's putting his own decision over public health. Like those are just now you're either agreeing with his position, but they be going in on him, like his character, and it's like, damn.
Because his character, it's the decision making that he does. The decisions that he makes puts him in that situation. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point. You can't, he's like when you remember, because we went to school together. He's if the tail wagging a dog was a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I swear it on everything. It's like, you cannot get out of your own damn way. You know what I mean? It's just you cannot. I think my thing is this. I think he came in, and he came in to be a leader. That them bringing LeBron back messed him up. That's what I think. I really do, because I think he's been ever since that championship, and he was like, I'm just gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
He's been trying to find that light to be his own person. And he can't seem to find that. And it's frustrating. It's probably frustrating the hell to him, because to him that might be something on his legacy. That's just me. I could be loud and wrong. I've never played for professional pro sports. I'm not. Who am I? I'm sure if he look at this, he'd be like, "Well, who is this guy? Like, who cares?" You know what I mean? But that's my guy take on it. You know what I mean?
I feel you, and I think it just boils down to like, yeah. I believe that too. Like Q, I believe we do get a lot more information, because what I thought about was Dennis Rodman, right?
I was thinking Ron Artest.
Huh?
I was thinking Ron Artest actually, but
I think about some of the decisions that they made and the reasons that they made them. Like Ron Artest is another one. If you watch the series, like Ron Artest had a lot of stuff going on. So the decisions he was making were because he had to. Like he needed to make certain decisions that he did. But if he was obligated, which it feels like it is now, to have to explain why every time he made a decision. Like, no, I don't want to go through my shit with y'all. Like, I don't know. I don't want to share with you why I'm making this decision. That's like you taking off at work and you'd be like, I'm taking a PTO day, right? And you'd be like, it's just some personal stuff going on. And your boss being like, well, I need you to tell me all the personal stuff. I need you to actually share with me the details. Like, you're gonna be like, what? No, I'm taking a personal day. I have the time. I can make that decision. And if they're like, nah, but I need the personal details, you're gonna be like, oh man, like you are then faced with a decision as a grown man to be like, do I care about this job enough that I'm gonna go ahead and do what he's basically saying I'm obligated to do, or am I gonna be like, fuck you, do what you gotta do?
That's fair. Because I wouldn't even give him that much. I'd be like, PTO out. See what I see you.
I mean, you know what
but to my point, I'm not gonna be like, but I'm gonna be a voice for the voiceless though.
Yes, I get that. Yes, I hear you. He made a statement that opened up Pandora's box.
That's all I'm saying. And again, all his decision making from him walking around, man. That's like if I came to your house and I'm walking around with a sage bush, wagging it up in your house. How you just gonna walk up in my stadium and run like it's too much bad energy in here. It's too much bad energy. Not like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like,
I think people are doing that. They're doing that to him too, though. If you think about it, because like I said, he made a decision and did it quietly, and people start judging his character. and then it's like when he responds, then it's a thing. You know what I mean? So he opened up the door. Yeah, I think AI is another great one, right? Like
But
that practice comment, right? It lives with him in infamy. But then when we all found
it
out
was a
what was
real
really
statement,
going
though.
on, huh?
It was a real statement, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that when he said it, it was taken in one context. But when we found out the backstory of what was actually happening, then we all felt like I'm not saying we all were condemning him, but I'm saying everybody felt like assholes because it was like, oh, those were the details that was actually going on and why he said what he said. Like,
But
oh, we didn't actually get to see all the details of that press conference, and like, you know what I mean? People used it how they wanted to use it. So I think
true.
it is what it is. And
I,
but you could say that he opened up Pandora's box by making the comment. And
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
You,
saying both of them. AI did too. AI made the comment.
but he made the comment. But that's my thing. AI, I think they wanted to villainize AI because AI. The reason why the people got the cornrows and twists and the tats and stuff was because of AI. They
Yeah.
wanted to vilify him anyway. He was
Yes.
against the image of the NBA.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
immediately, everything it was to discredit him and shut him out. Even though, like, even what he said just now, like last week, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where he's talking about he don't understand why he's still not a part of 76ers organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he ain't asked. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, like he ain't been there, he ain't put on for the city. So why
Yeah.
y'all don't want me? You know what I mean? And it's not like he ever put himself in that situation. He ain't walk up in people's houses saging shit. He ain't go up there and talk about the earth is flat because I feel like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you know, and again, I'm not saying these things to clown this man, this grown man. That's a grown man. Those are his beliefs, and that is what that is. That, you know what I mean? I'm making light of it, obviously, but you know, I respect it because that's okay. That's what he believes. Not going about my business, right? I can care less.
Yeah.
But you got to look at things like if I made out here made outrageous statements like, you know, tomatoes, you know, got oxycontin in them, and I'm right. You don't eat the tomatoes because it got oxycontin in it.
Oh,
And I'm not.
wait a minute. You're not yelling it. You're saying it to yourself. You're saying to yourself, tomatoes have oxycontin in them. You need them. Cool. And then a bunch of other people are looking at you and saying, "What? That's bullshit. Why are you saying that? You out of your mind. You need to get yourself together." And then you respond.
True.
That's the difference. He's not on a soapbox. Like taking it to the Colin Kaepernick thing, Colin got on a soapbox, and that soapbox just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger to where now he got Netflix specials coming out about him.
Right, but
You
that's
see
what he
what I'm
wanted to
saying?
do.
Kyrie's not doing that. Kyrie is trying to do it. He's trying to actually stay small with it, but people keep bringing it up and making it bigger. So then it becomes like, oh, now he's this guy who's preaching all this other stuff. He's not preaching that to anyone else. He's saying, this is what I believe. This is what I'm doing for me. That's it. Nobody else, like, if you don't love it, cool. If you do, cool. Like, he's not trying to make it a big thing, but people are making it a big thing. And I think then when he responds, it's like, oh, he responded. I can't believe he said. And it's like, okay, he's responding, but he's sticking to what he said. I believe this. This is
Which
what
is
I
what?
think. Huh?
Which is what? Exactly. I'm just not gonna get this vaccine. Other than that, you lost me. You missed me with the bullshit.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that's probably why he wants to keep it quiet. You
That's
probably
it.
know, like, I got my reasons may not resonate, and I'm gonna keep it quiet. Anyway, man, that's enough time. We
Yes.
spent a lot of time on Kyrie. God damn it, Kyrie, you gave us a lot of good information to talk about. Whatever
Exactly.
works for you, man. I hope it works out for the best.
Exactly.
Going on to the next topic, which hurt my heart, and it is what it is. Like, but it definitely was topic of a lot of conversation this week, last week. Small conversations, but it's very interesting. Let's talk about John Gruden.
Senor Chucky.
Resigning as the coach of the Raiders because of these infamous emails that were found where he used racist and homophobic and misogynist language. Yeah, for me to I can start on
Go
this
ahead.
one. I mean, it definitely was it was weird. It was like when it happened, or when it came out. I think when the first thing came out about the his comment. I can't think of the guy's name, but he made the comment that had racist undertones. It was like, okay, not okay. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely not okay. I think half of me was like, he joning on him. Like, you know what I mean? But then half of it's like, you probably are going in that racist lane a little bit,
Mhm.
or a lot of it, however you feel about it.
Mhm.
Um, and when they start saying we're looking through other emails, it was like, oh yeah, okay, something is about to happen big. Whether it was he was going to be like uh, dismissed for the rest of the year, or like I didn't know. Like I knew something more was going to happen, but I think
Mhm.
it was interesting, like how he was still able to coach that game, and like send an apology and say an apology and still be on the sidelines, and then they dig a little deeper and find some other graphic language he used, and it was like, oh, he got to get out of here now, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, it was 10 years ago that some of this was happening. I do wonder a lot about people's growth, and this lands into that cancel culture situation of,
Mhm.
do we allow people growth? Do we allow that? Like, I don't disagree that he probably made the right move, or the Raiders and him made the right move for him to step down. What I don't agree with is everyone who jumps in and starts to like now throw shots at him. Like
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up.
I didn't
Like,
hear
you
what
know what I mean?
what did he say?
It's just like, oh, there's no place for John Gruden and his opinions in the NFL. It's just like, shut up. Got it.
Mhm.
Like, he fucked up. John Gruden fucked up. Right? Like, some of his true colors may have been shown, whatever. Uh Maybe he just wasn't like, I think Derek Carr made a comment around like, check everybody's emails. You'll probably find a lot of shit. Or if you sit in a couple of different war rooms or locker rooms, you'll probably hear some shit that ain't great. You
Mhm.
feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to clean that up, but I'm saying everyone has room to grow in some way. And I don't agree with beating someone up when they down. And I think John Gruden is down. Like, I mean, he was caught in it. He's There's no running from it. He's quit his job. He's this and that. And I think I don't agree with people who now want to pile on. You know what I mean? Like Keyshawn Martin, that's his name, right?
Keyshawn
Keyshawn
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah, he he said the same shit. Like he was a this player, and I mean he was a this type of coach, and he's something else. Just like going in and like, why? You feel what I'm saying? Like, let it be. Like, to me, the comment should be: look, that man he walked his path, he made his choices, and he has to live in that.
Mhm.
That is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. But I don't like people. I feel like people now, like, I didn't see what Jerry Jones said, but I saw he made a comment. I need to see what he said, because I feel like when people try to there, I just feel like people trying to pile on. It's like almost like trying to hop on a bandwagon.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I got some shit in my emails. Let me say some bad shit about him now because it's on him. Let me go ahead and like hop on this bandwagon because this will feel good and this will get me some brownie points with everybody who's feeling this way. And like, I'm just, yeah, that's not moving us forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, don't disagree with him not being in the position anymore. I don't disagree with the non-tolerance for it in the
Right.
NFL. Like, but now piling on and trying to like, oh, now let me get mine in. Nah, I don't rock with that.
Well, I think like this. I think with regard to John Gruden himself. I mean, I never hit it. I was always a fan of John Gruden. His ethic, everything he gave to the game, he gave it to the game. Like it is what it is. He made the game better, in a lot of ways over the years. So I will say that. Um, I want to say this also, and I could definitely terribly be misquoted because I'm not a scientist. Okay, but I did enjoy science when I was in school, right? And there was an old saying that goes, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to witness the tree, does the tree exist? Right? And from what I understood was the truest answer of it is that it does exist. Um, but the tree, what is it? It breaks down on the subatomic level, or something to that effect, or whatever. Basically, at the end of the day, the tree itself exists, but if nobody sees it, it does not become present. It does not become real, right? That's like if you do you have a brother and sister? If you do not know they exist, it's
Mm-hmm.
only till you realize that you have a brother or sister that you know they exist. Now you
Mm-hmm.
do, right? So with that being said, is that my thing is this: with all of the stuff that's going on with John Gruden and things that was said, we didn't know it existed. And as far as we was concerned, I mean, his record coming back to the NFL, notwithstanding, uh, but he has been somebody who brought a lot to the game. With regard to whether or not he said what he said, or like as far as I'm concerned, look, people make jokes, right? And I think, like you said, when people have, you have camaraderie. You say certain things that that whatever we go back and forth. You and I have banter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I say certain things to Monique that I'm sure that if it got public, I would be like what you said, the old, Balmer. No, it's not Balmer, but whatever the previous owner of the Clippers was. You know what I mean? At
Yep.
least, guess what? We got a problem. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And I don't mean anything bad by it. I really don't, because I'm a people person. I like people, but you know me, I like to joke.
Yep.
I like to make light of everything because to me, why not?
Yep.
That's to me the true essence of comedy. It's the true essence of camaraderie, the true essence of humor. And I don't take myself too serious.
Yep.
So the only thing that I fault John Gruden for, and he should have knew better, but he's older, he's of an older generation, is that dude, don't put it in the email.
Yep.
Because email is forever. That's
Yep.
that's all I got to say about it. I don't care if you're racist or not. I look people dead on in their face. I don't care. You can say whatever you want to say to me. Period. That's cool. Not gonna hurt my feelings. That's like I would rather know
Right.
from
Right.
you that you racist. So okay, cool, good to know. And I probably hit you back with sarcasm once I find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not about to let that person have that kind of control and power. That's just how I feel. But I don't see anything particularly wrong with what he said. Now, the actions of the NFL was swift, and I felt that he got out before they could punish him. But then, by all right, because it was 10 years ago, could they really punish him? Because he was not really affiliated or under contract with anyone.
Right.
Okay,
He was a broadcaster.
right. So, which leads me to my last thing about this. I do not agree. That is where I have problems with Me Too movement, with Bill Cosby, with John Gruden. It's like, what's the statute? Even in the courts of law, there is a statute of limitation. You cannot persecute me for X and X and no once we cross a threshold of a certain amount of years. Okay? So if I said something, that's like them people going back back at when I was back at Fairmount Heights High School, shout out FHHS, and people said, oh, Donnie said that Mr. Bowman was racist. And they gonna bring me up on charges now? Like, I'm 43 years old. Are you kidding me? You gonna persecute me for something I said back then? And be serious? That's where I got a problem. That's what I think is wrong. And the piling on stuff with regard to like you said, Aaron Rodgers and all these other peripheral people. I think, yeah, I mean, I never really particularly cared for Keyshawn Johnson anyway. But I mean, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, you know, I respect him as a man. And, you know, if he got problems with what I'm saying, I don't care. But you know, I do respect him, and I know he's breathing. I don't mean no pure disrespect to him, but I never really cared for his personality. He was just always just kind of on his own. Like, yeah, like you don't have to be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be a don't be. You know what I mean? Be a do be. And you know, so I don't agree with, you know, like you said, piling on and all this extra stuff. But we also got to look at it too, is that we're in the media now. You and I, baby. So you know how this production goes. We get bites of what, oh, well, Aaron said this. But you know, it was some Fruit Loop reporter who wanted to get sound bites that took a chunk out of something he might have said and left out of all of the good nougaty funness in the candy bar and just left you the rapper. And now we stuck with this rapper and, like, you know, trying to criticize Aaron Rodgers, or, you know, you get what I'm saying, right? So
yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, the one thing I think about that is that if someone says, "Hey, what do you think about John Gruden?" No comment.
Yeah, that's a very
chunk. If you get a tidbit out of that, you a bad mo. You hear what I'm saying? Like, no comment.
That's a Marshawn.
Like I like the Raiders. I think the Raiders players gonna have a harder time saying no comment. Right? Like that was their coach, person they've been around. I think that would be harder. But you are a Green Bay Packer. You feel what I'm saying? Like, no comment. I don't got no comment. Nothing. I ain't got nothing to say. Like, whatever you feel it, but no comment.
That's fair. I mean,
it's the same thing. Like, no comment. I ain't got nothing to say about that man. Like,
and I feel you, but to be fair, then why are we talking about it? We could say no comment too.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm not piling on him either.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I'm talking about the situation, and that's that. Like, what I'm saying is that I don't agree with piling on. Like, I feel like he piled on in that situation, and I think in that moment, no comment. I don't have anything to say. Like, I'm not going to pile on because it's trendy right now to pile on John Gruden. It's like the Buccaneers being like, "Oh, we're taking them out of the ring of fire," or whatever, right? Whatever the fuck they call it, their little Hall of Fame ring. Okay, fine. If you want to do that, do it, right? But it don't got to be this announcement and this public press release of we, as the Buccaneers, don't agree. You're doing the most. Like, just take it down. Well, take it down. You don't got to pile on because it feels trendy.
I will say this, and I this is to further substantiate your point. I would appreciate this. I'm gonna issue this as a plea. Please, and I'm speaking to you, America. Let's take John Gruden down so you can look in my face, my eyes now. Please, we have been through enough. The Washington football team nation has been through enough. Okay, we know that Dan Snyder is not perfect. Okay, we know that there's a lot of stuff with the organization. We've been dealing with it for years. And we have a hard enough time just winning damn football games. We do not need for John Gruden's antics to dust up and uncover way more stuff that's going to put us in further disarray. So please, for the love of God, please leave Washington football team alone. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. But again, piling on, I felt the need to say that.
I feel you. I feel you. No, that's real. Well, I mean, you know,
go ahead.
I think to kind of segue a little bit, but it's still kind of in the same way talking about this. Dave Chappelle. I want to talk about Dave Chappelle, and I think it's important to talk about Dave Chappelle connected to John Gruden. I did that on purpose because one of the things that if you haven't seen Dave Chappelle special, The Closer, please go check it out on Netflix. Yes, it is still up on Netflix. They have not removed it and don't plan to. No. One of the things he said was like, you know, it's crazy how in America right now that it feels like you can kind of get away with a lot of slander or bad talk or violence against black people. But once you go against the
You got to get the
uh,
prefix. You got to get the letters right. Get the
all
letters
the,
right.
I'm gonna mess up the letter, so I'm not gonna do it.
Please don't, because you
I
go.
won't.
They're gonna cancel us before we get started, brother. Like, come
Correct,
on.
correct. So all the letters that you instantly get canceled. And I think the John Gruden thing showed that to be true. He said something against a black person. He was on the sidelines apologizing and coaching the Raiders. Once it came out that it was a little more, and he talked about, like, he made a comment that was in more of a homophobic type of presence.
And the women though, and the women too. Though. You got to throw that
And
out
women
there.
misogynistic too. He did that too. But he was out of there. Let's go. Hey, wait a minute. No, he did not. No, he did not. You better go in and get him out of here. And I think that's the first point that's interesting when it comes to the Chappelle special that seemed to ring true. I think the other part is the Dave Chappelle said, "I punch lines, but I don't punch down." Like, that's the piling on thing I'm talking about.
Yep.
I feel like people are punching down when that man is already down, and it's like, oh, let me punch you a little bit more while you're down. Um, and I just don't agree with that. Like, do I agree with his statements? No, I don't agree with his statements, right? But I don't need to now continue to punch down on him and be like, and he's this, and you know what? I always thought he was this. And nah, why? Why? He going through his own personal battle and ridicule now, and he gonna have to deal with that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna have his own battles and his own stuff he got to deal with, and I think that's enough for him. I think with Chappelle also, like, the people who want to cancel him and have his show removed and say that he has hate and all this, I think, one, I don't see how you watched it. I absolutely believe that you could not have watched it if that's what you came away with.
Oh, they came to the joint with pens and pads, bro. What you talking about? They already knew. Oh, Dave Chappelle got a special? Get your pen and pad.
I feel like they heard what people said about it and were like, cool, cancel him. And there's no way that you listen to what he said, because nothing in that special was hate related. Like, nothing he said was about trying to incite hate for any other group. Like, nothing he said was about inciting hate for other groups. And I just don't understand how that's what people took from it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, that to me is just like, wow, like, such a miss of communication. You know what I mean? And he talked about it in other shows where it was just like, he talked about saying the word, I'm not gonna say the word because I try to be whatever. Like,
I said
the FAG word, the whole word. And he was like, I said this. He said, I said this to a higher up person at Comedy Central. She said, oh, you can't say that. Oh my God, oh my God. He said, but I say nigga all the time. Like, I don't understand. Like, why is that okay? Right? And she's like, well, you're not. She basically said, you're not one of this, but, and they got caught. And that was his skit. And it may not have went that way. But in essence, Dave Chappelle made fun of black people for years on the Chappelle show.
Yeah.
Like, for years, right? And we could laugh at it and still move forward. And I think that was the importance of what he was saying. It was like, I'm not going to make another joke until we either talk or we're laughing together. Like, I'm not trying to incite hate. I want to laugh at this. I'm a comedian. This is what we do. We make jokes. We poke fun at the life we live to try to, not live in such a terrible space that a lot of us do for different reasons. You know what I mean? And I think that is like the key of what I took from what he said. Like, he's like, look, we all got shit going on. Let's come laugh about it and then move forward. Right? He talked about his transgender friend who passed away, who killed themselves, right?
Right.
And he talked about that situation of, look, she defended me, and y'all ripped her to pieces. And maybe that's not why she did what she did, or not. Like that
Right.
is for whatever. But think about that. That literally goes against what you're saying you're trying to defend, or like what you're mad about, right? Like you're mad about this, but you're treating someone who is in your community that way because they're like, nah, he's not that guy. Like, nah, actually, he's been an ally,
Right.
right? And I think if you haven't had that conversation, if you haven't sat down, if you haven't listened, then yeah, you could be just as bad as some of the other ones who do spew hate and who are trying to incite hate. Because at some point, like that's what it starts to become. I think a lot of the negative words that have come out have been from the people who are criticizing him.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot more negativity and negative words being said about him than what he said.
Right. I agree with that.
So
I first of all, let me say, I think Dave Chappelle is an icon. I mean that wholeheartedly. I think he is exactly what this generation has been missing. Exactly what this generation is needed. Um, because we ain't really had these, icons of that magnitude since the death of Dr. King and Malcolm X and so forth and so on. And well, outside of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, obviously, but he knows exactly what to do to make us take a look at ourselves in the mirror
mhm.
and hold ourselves accountable. Now, with regard to this cancel culture, I swear on everything. It's like I said, it's Twitter. Twitter started it. I absolutely. I don't have anything to back up. This is to back it up. That's just my belief. Twitter it gave license for idiots to come to the forefront and be idiotic, right? Like because not everybody had a voice. Now everybody has a voice. And now they go and there's people who literally go out to seek to be famous, to be seen, to be heard. They want it, they crave it, and they're willing to take down people to do it, but hide behind the mirror, the black mirror that is their computer or their cell phone. I hate it, but this is who we become as people. I think with regard to Dave Chappelle's stance, I love how he put everything. And I liken it to the fact that we as creatives, you, me, all of the recording artists, musicians, artists, videographers, we're artists, and we have people out here that want to tell us what tools we can use to create. Comedians are the same. Would we hold Richard Pryor in the regard that we hold him in if he had to watch what he said? How about Red Fox? You know what I mean? George Carlin. You know what I mean? Like these are all people that, like hell. I remember being young in the 80s. I mean, I don't even remember how old I was. I didn't even get half of the jokes, but I just knew it was funny.
Mhm.
Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, Billy Crystal, comic relief, HBO. And I mean, I nonstop hours of just I'm crying. I can't stop crying because it's funny. And you cannot tell me that they did not say anything that was misogynistic, racist, anything. You can go back to the TV shows like Archie Bunker, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, you know, Sanford and Son. I mean, these things were built off of being and having a voice to say what you need to say, to get people to look at themselves in the mirror, to make the changes that's necessary through a lens of joke. That's art, man. And I think that because we've given voices to people that don't deserve a voice, And yes, I do agree that not everybody deserves a voice. Just not everybody, just like everybody does not deserve to be a boss. Some people aren't built to be bosses. They're just not. Not saying you don't want to be, not saying you don't, but you, again, that's like, it, the best way I can put it is that, if I want to be an astronaut, I'm not going to go walk in and build my own space shuttle and not understand physics and geology and the whole everything that needs for me to be a qualifiable astronaut. You have to study. You have to become that. You have to transition. You have to prep. And I think that that's what happened with this society is everybody's so quick to cancel because now everybody has a right to say something because everybody has access to be heard. And I hate it. I really do. I hate it. I hate how this has become. It's upset everything, upset the order and everything. I mean, even just relationships, families, so forth and so on. The women want to be men, men want to be women. Like it's all just how can you find a place in society today to have something to stand on with all of this moving and changing and it's just it's I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Nonetheless, I digress. The closer was funny. It was a very good special. It's unfortunate that it's his last one for a while. Um, I'm sure he's going to still be heard. I'm sure he's still going to say what he needs to say when he needs to say it. But I mean, again, to be a truly defining icon in the days, and be respected as such, it's amazing. And I got nothing but love and respect for Dave Chappelle. That's all I got to say. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm long with
No,
it.
you're good. You're good. I think I agree like a lot what you said, and I think Dave has grown as an artist and what he does.
Mhm.
Um, I think the one thing that I would push or like maybe not totally agree with is the voice part. Like I think people can have a voice. Like it is what it is. I just don't have to agree. And that's okay. And I think that's the part that I think gets twisted. And I think that's what he's saying. Like, feel what you feel, say what you say. But I shouldn't necessarily have to be canceled because I don't agree with what you say or like stand up in your identity too. Like it's I think he's stating like he makes fun of things pretty balanced. He'll make fun of groups and people and whatever pretty balanced. Like everybody
Right.
can get it. And it's not with hate or like harm
Yeah. Balance
intent.
that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, but if you feel like I don't like that or agree with that, cool. I don't see anything wrong with saying that, feeling that. But then that's that. Just like he, can make his special. I think cool. Say what you need to say, and that's that. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, to be like, oh well, he should be canceled or blah blah blah. Jeez, that dude got another interception. I think. I'm sorry. Dig.
Yeah. Stephon
Anyway,
Diggs.
yeah, nah, yeah, the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that it's okay to have varying opinions and thoughts, and I do think there's some places where like it's okay for people to set like whether it's tolerable or not, right? Like jobs,
Right.
if jobs are like this is not going to be tolerated here, so be
Right.
it. Cool, but I think if you go to a comedy club and you got somebody up there and they're making fun of people, like that's what they kind of do. Like I've seen plenty of like white people make fun of black people, like churches and the way we eat and all that's like it's about laughing at each other, right? And I truly feel like that's what he was trying to say was like, yes, I'm gonna joke on you and I have things to say, but I'm not. My intent isn't to bring harm or say that I don't like you. You know what I mean? While I may not agree with your lifestyle, that's my choice. That's okay. Like I don't have to agree with it or feel like it's something. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. That's your lifestyle. So be it. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's really what he was trying to say. Is like, I think he at the end where he was like, he said he made the comment to his friend where he was like, "Well, I don't get it. I don't get you." And she was like, "Well, you don't. It's not for you to get me. I just want you to understand and view that I'm a human being going through my own human stuff."
Right.
Cool. And I feel like that's what it is. We all go through our stuff. We all have our different things we go through, and I think some of it I'm going to agree with you, some of it I'm not, and that's okay. Like we still can move forward in some kind of way, and you have your space and I have mine, and that is what it is. And there's a lot of things that fall into these categories. Like we've had comments or shows previously where I talked about where like um where people were feeling this issue around Black Lives Matter and saying things, and I was like, I think it's hard when if someone doesn't agree totally or understand that totally, we just are ready to cancel them. I was like, I think that's the opportunity to have a conversation to understand, possibly, like, okay, that's how you feel. Like, tell me more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
maybe understand each other a bit better. And you still may walk out of it not agreeing. I'm still not going to put a bunch of effort into now trying to cancel you. Like, that's what you're moving forward in life with and your beliefs. I have mine. I know where you stand. And that's kind of it. You know what I mean?
But the problem, and I understand that. The problem I have with cancel culture though is the intent behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Again, I know what I said, and I understand how uh invalid that probably comes across by me saying not everybody deserves a voice. And I say that that's more of a structure thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's by process. Not everybody. That's like my kids having a voice. Yeah, if all my kids want to do is wake up eating cake and candy all day, they don't deserve to have a voice because they don't even know about properly about nutrition. They haven't earned that yet. They don't understand it yet, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of mean it from that same context with people. And I think the intent with cancel culture is this. Again, it's quicker to talk about. I want to be heard about what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
than to understand that these are real people going through real issues. These are people that got to feed their families. John Gruden has to feed his family.
Yep.
Now he can no longer really do that because everybody else wants to have so much to have an opinion creates a negative space for him. And it's hard to really kind of get clarity because like a quarterback going into an away stadium, he can't quiet the crowd noise
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's yelling.
Mm-hmm. I get
And
that.
that, and that's my space with it. It's just like social media is just the loudest place ever because everybody has to have an opinion. And a lot of times either people just trying to be funny, trying to be important, trying to everybody's jostling and juggling and moving to be seen and be heard instead of
Mhm.
looking at the fact that people are real people going through real issues or making mistakes. What happened to United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave? Freedom of speech? Yeah, that is a thing. But is it really free if you taking away somebody else's freedom?
But but I mean, I think what connects with me with what you're saying is that we're not listening enough. Everybody's yelling, but no one's listening. And I think
Exactly.
that's the part that I continue to say is like conversations are needed to be had. Like we got to talk and have conversations. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's what people don't want.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Ms. D.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Um, Yeah, like people don't want to hear it. Like people always like it's funny because people will walk around and say, "Just be honest, be straight up." Like you know what I mean.
Can't
But
handle
like
it.
9 times out of 10, you don't want someone to be honest. You don't
Oh,
want them to be straight up. You want them to fit into the constraints of what's supposed to be right or wrong or said, and that's where like to me cancel culture is stemming from. It's like, oh, you shouldn't say that. You're wrong. Cancel you, right? And it's like not be honest. This is where you're at. It's not, okay, I disagree with you, but it's better for me to know where you're at, and maybe we have a conversation about it. Maybe we don't, but like I know where you're at. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, right? And I again, I think you know me. Like I'm, if I disagree, I disagree, and I'll tell you that, right? But that doesn't
Right.
mean I want you to like perish now and like never, have success or not be able to feed your family now. I don't. That's not my hope because I disagree with you. If anything, my hope would be that I could get you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to
Right.
understand where I'm coming from, right? But if I wish negative things on you, you probably will never want to understand where I'm coming from because now I've wished these negative things on you, and it's like now we've become something else. It's like somebody said, if you lose me as a friend, it doesn't mean that you gained an enemy. You feel what I'm saying? And like that's the reality. Just because we're
Mhm.
not friends doesn't mean now I'm your enemy. Like, nah, I still you got to live your life, and I hope that you can find a way to find the answers that maybe you're looking for, even if it's not us interacting and me helping you find the answers or you helping me find the answers. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, still, you got kids. I want you to feed your kids. You got a life. I want you to live your life to the best you can. And I think that's the piece that we're missing is that one piece goes away a lot of times when people disagree.
I feel a lot of this stems also too from the fact that, like I said earlier, people hide behind these their Twitter fingers and these laptops. A lot of stuff that be said, people wouldn't dare say it to another person's face.
Yeah.
So A, that's cowardly. But B, I also look at it too is that a lot of it is there's no regulation. There's no regulation on social media. There's that like if I was the president, this is my first thing that I'm saying. Is if I was the president of the United States, is two things that I would enact, two laws that I would enact immediately or move to enact. First thing we need to have annual driver's tests. I get it. I know it's probably inconvenient for a lot of people, but you know what? You need to have annual driver's tests. Okay, make that three things: annual driver test. B, you need to have a license to have a child because not everybody is prepared enough to have a child. And you have to have a license. You got to go. You got to have a license to operate a motor vehicle. You got to have a license to cut hair. You got to have it's a lot. But anybody can have a kid? No. The third thing is I would have to say we need to regulate social media, the World Wide Web, because again, most of the people that's doing all of the stuff that they're doing, they're saying what they're saying, they they do it because it's not black backlash. How can I
Mhm.
track you? I can't. Oh, so many people. I can say whatever I want to say. Piss on it. I've been on video games. You know me. I play 2K, Madden. Damn good at it. Anybody can see me and get my gamer tag. And we'll be playing. You put the headset on, it'd be a whole another ball game. Like the kids, like it'd be people cussing you out, and it'd be kids, hold on, like 9-year-olds.
Yep.
Like, where the hell's your parents at?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I mean, cussing up like a storm.
Yep.
But you can get away with that because you wouldn't be saying that to me if I was in a room with you. And I feel that that's the same. That's exactly the space that Twitter and social media is that everybody is. That's why I mean it's so loud. It's deafening. Everybody has to have a voice. I can say what I want to say. How dare you impede me from saying what I got to say? This is why I say
Mhm.
regulation is key, which is why everybody feels they can do what they want to do. You need to regulate this. Make their consequences and repercussions. Oh, such and such tag, gamer tag. Donnie B got the beats. At Donnie B got the beats. Oh, he said that. Okay, we're gonna disable your account. You can't engage the World Wide Web for 2 weeks. Now you down. Now damn. I can't get that. Same thing with Facebook. I can't. Man, I've been going on Facebook for like a month. Sorry, gotta watch what I say. Watch the pictures I put up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. the regulations. I think people get nervous with regulations because it's like who's making the regulations, who's creating those regulations, and
Yes.
there are people who, even on IG and Facebook now, be like, I got kicked off or I'm in jail because of
Right.
this picture, which I don't think is bad, right? And a lot of people may agree with them. So I think it's, it becomes a thing where people will, yeah, it could be a gift and a curse. To me, it's just take what you need, leave what you don't. Yes, it's loud, but take what you need, leave what you don't.
Until
I
they,
don't
they
need that
can
opinion, huh?
until they come to cancel you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what it comes back to. Take what you leave what you don't. Like, if you don't need it, you don't want it, leave it. Like, you don't need to cancel it, just leave it. That's what I'm saying. Like that, it just needs to be a mindset of everyone don't have to necessarily agree.
That's right.
It's actually probably rare that everyone in the room will agree. You put 30 people in a room and ask 10 questions, you probably won't get everyone in the room to agree on all 10 questions.
Yeah, that was just clear.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hell no, you're not gonna get that in a bigger, if you look at it from a bigger
Petri dish.
yeah, it's not gonna happen. So okay. But that also doesn't mean that when we walk out of that room now, anyone who didn't agree with certain things has to be canceled.
Oh, I
Canceled
swear I
because
hate that.
they didn't agree, right?
You voted for Trump. You can't be my friend.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck
So
is stupid.
either way, man, we've hit about an hour 22 minutes, man. Just chopping it up on these topics. So much to talk about, so little time. We appreciate everybody logging in. DeAngelo Redman couldn't get on today. We'll try to get him on another week. But this is officially the end of season 3 of Two Flew West. The end of season 3. We are gonna kick off season 4 in a couple of weeks. Update some things, change some things up. So definitely stick with us. Like it's, well, I'm not gonna do your part. That's what you do. Definitely keep hold and watch out for new episodes coming really, really soon as we start into season 4. Coming up really, 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 really soon. I think we've almost hit a year. Have we hit a year yet? I think we're coming close if it hasn't been already. But either way, we're excited to kick that off with some dope guests and some other things. So, Donnie, take us out, man. It's your world.
Hey man, you said everything that there is to say, man. Yo, it's been a blessing, man. It's been man. I've known you for a very long time, man. And just give me your flowers, man. We got to start with that, man. Like your flowers. You have been there more than anybody's ever been there for me, man. I appreciate you, and I say that so that the world can hear it, man. You're my brother, my family, my friend. I just it's an honor. It's an honor to know Nicholas Baker. I knew you when you was I knew you was Nick Bags.
Nick
They all
Bag.
man.
Hell bag.
You know.
Hell bag. Get it right.
So, but it's an honor and a privilege, man. And I gotta say, the ride has been bumpy, as you know. Most of the time, I've been providing most of the bumps, but you hung in there, man. The seatbelt was pretty good when she was riding on. You know what I'm saying? uh, and I appreciate you. And with that being said, we're going back to Two Flew West again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being a part of the success of this show. We have nothing but bigger and better. In fact, we had conversations about it. How do we make this thing bigger and better? And we will. If anybody knows us, know that we will. And it's just that simple. Like he said, end of season 3, going into season 4, a year now in the game. So we coming out this thing, older, wiser, and with more swag, more drip, and it's just that. I got LA covered. He got the Bay Area covered. We both got the DMV covered. It is what it is. Man, shouts out to family, friends, and everybody, loved ones in all of those locales and everywhere else that we all know, from our Antonian friends and everywhere else, man. So we got nothing but love and respect for everybody. Thank you all for helping to make us who we are today.
Really quick, my bad.
Go ahead.
Didn't mean to break in, but I did not say this. It would be remiss of me not to say happy birthday to my Uncle Brooks. Today is his birthday. That's right, Uncle Brooks. Happy birthday. I'm not sure if you're watching, but happy birthday. I'm about to call over there to make sure I say it on the phone too. But it would have been a tragedy if I didn't come on here and tell one of the most important men in my life growing up happy birthday. So definitely happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Uncle Brooks. And hopefully you enjoy it, man. Without further ado, like I said, we're gonna get out. We're gonna catch this next flight out, man. We'll see y'all in season 4. Make sure you like and subscribe on social media. Stay tuned for the new imprint, the new look, the new drip, and we was just gonna leave it like that. At the end of the day, much love, success. Everybody be easy. We out. Peace.